Salon owners, big changes are coming. Recent studies show that stylists are moving back to employment-based salons, but they're only joining teams with real mentorship and training. If you don't have a plan to onboard new hires fast and set them up for success, you can miss out on some great talent. That's why I created the Salon Success System. It's a simple step-by-step way to welcome new stylists in their first month, start a mentorship the right way, and build an in-salon training culture that keeps people growing and staying. Get your systems ready now so you're not scrambling later. Learn more about it on my website at denisekailitz.com/success system. And remember, when you know better, you do better. Have you ever stepped out of the shower in the fall and thought, wait, why is there so much hair in the drain? Or maybe your brush seems a little fuller this time of year. Look, you're not imagining it. It's seasonal hair shedding, and it's real. In fact, searches for seasonal hair loss skyrocket every fall. Let's talk about why this happens, what's normal, and how to protect your hair as the seasons change. Welcome to All About Hair, where we talk shop, share stories, and spill the secrets behind great hair and a great career. I'm your host, Denise Keilitz, a former salon owner, educator, and a lifelong hair crusader. Whether you're a new stylist building your book or just someone who loves learning about all things hair, you're in the right place. When we see more hair falling out, our first reaction is usually panic, right? We wonder if we're going bald, if our products are wrong, or if something is seriously wrong with our health. The truth? Hair naturally responds to changes in sunlight, the changes in humidity and temperature. And for many of us, that means more shedding as summer fades. What makes it tricky is that seasonal shedding overlaps with other common causes of hair loss, like stress, hormones, even the way we style and cover our hair in colder months. That's why it's easy to misread what's happening. First of all, fall brings drier, cooler air outside and heated, dry air indoors. Together, they pull moisture from your hair and your scalp, and it makes strands brittle and breakage prone. And then you throw in less sunlight, which means less vitamin D, and this can actually slow down hair growth. And then we're wearing the hats and the scarves and the wool coats, which can create friction, breakage, and even scalp irritation if they're too tight or not made of hair-friendly fabrics, right? And if you're already stressed, hello, busy fall schedules, Halloween, Thanksgiving, or if you're dealing with hormonal shifts, shedding can feel even worse. Every October, when my salons used to get busy with holiday bookings, I used to notice more hair coming out when I brushed. And I wasn't alone. My clients would sit down and whisper, Denise, I think I'm losing my hair. And most of the time, it was just seasonal and not permanent. Trichologist Samantha Stewart from the Spencer Clinic shares a lot of smart ways to minimize seasonal shedding and to keep your hair healthy. Here's a few. First, you want to choose gentle materials. You want to opt for hats and scarves lined with silk or satin to reduce friction, breakage, and static. Makes sense. You want to keep your headwear clean, so wash your hats, wash those scarves. You want to avoid sweat, oils, and bacteria that can irritate your scalp. You actually want to keep your hair hydrated. Use moisturizing shampoos, leave-in conditioners, or hair oils to lock in that moisture. Lower the heat on your flat irons and your curling wands, and always, like I always say, use a heat protectant. Yes, you know I will leave links in my show notes. You also want to make sure you drink plenty of water. Hydrated hair starts with a hydrated body. Eat hair-healthy foods. Look for protein, biotin, zinc, vitamin D, and omega-3s. You want to make sure you're still getting your hair trimmed regularly. This helps prevent split ends and it keeps those hair strands strong. And you want to avoid tight hairstyles, especially when hair is dry and fragile. So skip the tight ponytails or the braids at this time of year. If you're seeing extreme shedding or patches of missing hair, that's when it's time to visit a dermatologist or a trichologist. Seasonal shedding shouldn't leave bald spots or dramatic thinning. I remember long time ago, a client who would come in every November, worried sick because she felt her hair was falling out by the handful. We tracked it for a few years, believe it or not, and sure enough, her shedding spiked every autumn, but always calmed down by January. I used to just think it was stress from the holidays, but once she started moisturizing more, trimmed her hair regularly, and lining her winter hats with satin, she stopped worrying and started enjoying her hair again. So there you have it. A little extra hair in your brush in the fall is normal. Your follicles are just moving through their natural cycle. With the right care, moisture, gentle styling, nutrition, and scalp health, your hair will bounce back. And if something feels off, or if you see bald spots, do not wait. Get checked early to rule out any other causes. Look, I would love to hear any questions you have for future episodes. You might be wondering, all kinds of things about hair loss, hair thinning. I know we talk a lot about it because a lot of you write into me and you have questions. Thank you so much. That's what keeps this podcast going. So just always send me your questions on Instagram at Denise Keilitz, or you can email me. You can always find me at my website. I have my link in my show notes, DeniseKeilitz.com, and you might hear one of your questions in a future episode. But always remember, some extra shedding in autumn is usually your hair just resetting after its growth cycle. Support it with hydration, nutrition, and gentle styling, and it's going to reward you come spring. For more expert hair education, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, All About Hair with Denise, and make sure wherever you follow this podcast that you're following us so you get notification when the next one comes up. And don't forget to go grab my free hair growth protocol sheet in the show notes. All you have to do is go to DeniseKeilitz.com/thinning hair, one word, and you can pick that up. But don't worry, the link's in the show notes as well. And always remember, when you know better, you do better. Thanks for tuning in to All About Hair. If you loved this episode, hit subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a fellow stylist or hair-loving friend. You want more tips, tools, and behind-the-scenes goodness? Follow me on YouTube or head to my website at DeniseKeilitz.com. Yes, I know it's hard to spell, so don't worry, the link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep loving what you do. When I first started building my salons, I struggled with training. It felt like I was reinventing the wheel every time I hired someone new, and it was exhausting. But everything changed when I created a real system for onboarding and education. That's why I built the Salon Success System, so you don't have to figure it all out the hard way like I did. If you want proven tools, templates, and strategies that help your stylist succeed and take the stress off your plate, then check out the show notes for the link. Let's make training the best part of your business.